So I reiterate here, the bill is dead.
The story of this great city is about the years before this night. We are great!
Hey, what's up? This is Ho Ho Hong Kong. I am Andy Curtin. I'm here with my buddy Vivek Mababani.
Hey, what is up? It's good to be back here again.
And we're recording at Aftermath today. Massive thank you to Kyle and Alicia for putting us up. This place is fantastic.
That is right. It's perfect space in Hong Kong. In a basement. Acoustics are fantastic.
We're safe, I think.
Yeah, we've measured 1.5 meter distance.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you too far away.
Exactly. There we go. That was the test.
We were in a restaurant yesterday, and I've got 2 kids and my mother-in-law, and we had to have 3 tables. And literally in the line to get into the restaurant, we're like,
this is not happening.
asked to ask all the way, just like trying to get into the restaurant. The 20 people.
You're
and
begging.
then they're like, oh no, you're in now.
Yeah.
Don't sit close enough to protect your children
Yeah, exactly.
falling a far greater risk.
Yeah. If you could save them, you're at risk.
And I was like, she's not going to get COVID. She's going to fall on the floor.
This is the bizarre thing, right? So it's 2 people per table at the moment. That's the restriction, right? And so what's happening, like, even when I went out with my mom and my girlfriend, we were at separate tables, girlfriend and my mom on one table, and I'm at the other table.
That's a good deal for you.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. But the problem is I don't get to share the food then. I have to decide what is that one dish I'm getting, right? But then I decided, wait a second, I'm allowed to get up from my table.
That's so funny. It's the opposite of China. Because China's so good the way they share the food. In the West, we have our own food.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not good if you can't sit together.
Exactly, right? I mean, the round table doesn't work if it's like, just 2 people spinning the same thing in the middle. It's like, I could take it from this distance, but I mean, the weird thing is with this restriction, I can still get up and go over to their table with my fork and spoon and just
cough on them a few times.
Yeah, come while I'm taking a
give him a
piece
sloppy
of chicken.
Kiss.
Yeah, exactly. I'll take that. That's my meal, please.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
so it's a weird time.
I was thinking the other day that, I think Hong Kong's done such an amazing job, right? Because it is clearly easy for a country to have thousands and thousands and thousands of cases.
Yeah.
Right? And it's also been achievable for a lot of countries to have 0 cases.
Yes.
But, like, how hard is it for them to have the precision to just have 40 cases
every day
indefinitely?
Right? Exactly.
Right? It's like enough to be safe, not enough to protest.
Exactly.
They've got it completely figured out.
Enough for a headline, enough for an excuse to continue the restrictions, but not enough to overwhelm the system.
Like, how many
just yet.
cases today? It's 40. What did you think it was going to be?
Yeah, exactly. The feng shui master said that's a lucky number. Go with it, right? That's how we work over here.
I do want a massive shout out now to the Aftermath Fringe Festival that's about to be put up. It's 4 performances and interviews by some of Hong Kong's hot musical artists. 2 stand-up comedy sets, a hilarious game show, and a quiz. That's going to be launched online from next Friday. There'll be tickets available through Ticket Flap for $80.
80 Hong Kong dollars
That is a
right over
bargain.
there. That's really good. And the best thing is you get the comfort of your own home. So if you felt your seat wasn't comfortable, that's your problem.
Yeah.
Right? You did a bad job.
If no one's laughing, it's you.
Yeah, exactly. It's literally just
problem.
you. Yeah, it wasn't a bad show. You just had a bad mood.
They're going to have bundles available to see multiple shows as well.
So I'm
up on
guessing
Ticket Flap.
this Fringe Festival is all free seating.
Yeah, it's allocated seating. Before you start the show, could you please sit on the floor?
Exactly. Yeah, we would recommend that you maintain the social distancing. So if you're watching with a friend, watch in different rooms. If you don't have different rooms, rent one.
This is the most you promotion I've ever heard.
Exactly. You're kind of like, where's he going with this? I don't understand his logic again.
Also, we got our Patreon is up now. Check out patreon.com/HoHoPod. 2 big shout outs to Peter Ballack and Alan, recent patrons. Thank you, patrons. Thank you so much for that, guys. It is awesome. And if you want to find me online, I am at Andy Curtin on everything, Vivek.
And I'm feeling in the mood of giving so the other Muhammad.
And now I think we've tortured our guest today enough by making him sit there in silence. We've got Antony Dapiran back on the podcast.
G'day, good to be with you again.
You've been a hit for our listeners, I have to tell you.
Oh, really? Oh, thank you.
How do people find you online?
Twitter at AntD, ANTD. Is
and
the
your
best
Twitter's
place.
great. I've been learning stuff for the first time, actually.
I try to combine some educational material in there with the snark and sarcasm and, shit posting.
Yeah, and also another Twitter account that you got me onto, and I'm going to mess up the name, but is it's Shinchu There's a female journalist.
Shinchi Su?
Shinchi Su,
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah, a
She's
great journalist, yeah.
She's doing some amazing stuff.
Yeah, really great.
That
yeah.
she's way better than reading the actual news.
Yeah, I find a lot of that. I mean, especially, dare I say it, the SCMP reporters. But a lot of journalists have really great content on Twitter because it's sort of direct from their brain to you, and it doesn't get intermediated by editors who may end up slanting it in a different direction. So yeah,
And as it's happening a lot of the time as well.
Exactly.
Shinchi Su.
Yeah, Shinchisu. Yeah.
So we got you back on today because things were looking so great after the last time we chatted, and somehow they've gotten better. Can I? That's what do I have to say?
Hey, it's all about perspective. You know, when you're optimistic about life.
if you're a Communist Party member, it got better.
Yeah, exactly. So
Even more stable.
Even more stable. That is correct. So if you're looking for stability,
Yep.
you've got even more stable life going on in 2021.
So kind of the I think the first big thing, and you'll correct me, please correct me if I'm wrong about this, but was all the Democratic lawmakers leaving, you know, them resigning, or what exactly happened there?
Yeah, so Beijing let's take two steps back, really. Last year, there were going to be elections for the Legislative Council. They were scheduled in September. In advance of that, of course, all the candidates put in their nominations to run, and the returning officers decided that some of those people weren't suitably loyal.
So they bumped a bunch of people out.
So a couple of people were disqualified from running in the upcoming election, but a few of those were sitting lawmakers. They were incumbents, and they were going to be running again. And then the government, of course, delayed the election because of COVID. They said we have to wait at least a year. It was good because they didn't even say we're going to delay it exactly a year. They said we're going to delay it at least a year. But who knows when it's going to come back. But anyway.
2047.
Yeah.
But then the current LegCo was extended, and there was this problem where you had a number of sitting legislators who had been disqualified from running in the now delayed election but were still sitting in the chamber. And so Beijing decided they wanted to do something about this. So they issued a ruling basically kicking them out and saying if you'd been disqualified from running in the upcoming election, you have to get kicked out of the current legislature.
Beijing made that ruling.
Yeah,
right?
that was the interesting thing. It wasn't made by the Hong Kong government, wasn't made under the basic law. It wasn't following any recognised legal mechanism. The National People's Congress just said, we decree it.
Which is sort of a step on from the national security law being implemented, right? Like
Yeah.
It seems now Beijing's just taken a very active role in lawmaking.
Just
in Hong Kong.
making direct decisions. So there are really technically only two things they should be allowed to do: interpret the basic law or make legislation such as the national security law that is then sort of applied to Hong Kong and made part of Hong Kong law. But this was just a decision.
It's so funny how they pretend to have a system. I mean, you talk about like the lack of a rule of law. Like, I think people really misunderstand what that is. The idea that the law should apply equally at all times to all people. And it's like the second you have one person being like, let's just do something different, it's like, well, then it's gone.
Yeah.
The myth of it's gone.
Yeah,
Exactly.
But the problem is that wouldn't even work when you're a bunch of friends, though. You know, like everyone's deciding, let's do this. We're gonna have a show tonight, and some kids like, let's do magic.
No,
No, this is a comedy show. We don't suddenly throw in like a card trick. No, let's. You know what we're gonna do? I'm gonna go stand on my head. Like, this kid.
I think
invite
it's
this
more
guy?
like if you have one friend who's like a celebrity, he's like Brad Pitt,
Yeah.
and all of his other friends are just like regular dudes.
Yeah.
And like, what do you want to do tonight? Well, I'm gonna do cards. Yeah, we'll do this.
Yeah.
And then as you're walking out, Brad's like, "Yeah, we're not doing that."
Yeah, everyone's like, that's right. We're not doing it.
Oh yeah, Brad. Yeah. 'Cause Brad, what are we doing again?
Exactly. What Brad wanted, that's exactly what I wanted as well. That is correct.
Yeah. In this analogy, Brad Pitt runs internment camps.
Exactly. Yeah, and there you go. So, I mean, hey, if anything, that was a compliment, so you're safe. You can stay in Hong Kong for another year.
So that they've booted him out.
Yeah, sorry. So, and so then, in protest, almost the rest of the entirety of the rest of the pan-democratic camp resigned from LegCo in protest, basically to say, well, this is no longer, this has basically become a sham, and we're not going to continue to lend our legitimacy to this. So
And do you
they
think
will
that was
resign.
the right move?
Look, on the one hand, it was sort of the only principled stand they could take in a way, just to show that this was that to show that the LegCo had sort of become illegitimate. But the consequence is that there's now no opposition camp in the LegCo. We don't know how much longer this term is going to last. And it's just all pro-Beijing lawmakers who can basically the government can do what they want with no scrutiny, without really being held accountable in the way that the pan-Democrat camp used to do when they were there. So it's not great, especially given that we don't know how long this situation is going to last, where the government can just push through whatever crazy ideas they want.
That's like an open mic night with no audience and just comics. Like,
Right.
And no good comics.
yeah, no good comics either. Yeah, and then
no
you
one
take that
funny.
photo.
Yeah.
You take that photo, put it on Facebook, like "Kill tonight." Look at that crowd.
Yeah, that's kind of Carrie Lam's view of the world, right? I mean, she said when the pandems resigned, she said, actually, we're excited that now we can do things more efficiently.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, that's what I mean. It's like same with comics. It's like I'm excited. There's no
She's
audience.
got to be
so-
like semi-autistic, right?
Yeah, I really feel there's an issue here.
I mean,
I really feel.
I'm not even. It just she seems so just tone deaf, or it's not even like she doesn't care. Like if she came out and was like, you're like, all right, she got it.
Yeah,
you
she's
know?
like that. Yeah, yeah,
But she's like, things will move faster now.
yeah.
Yeah, she's a very odd character, put it that way. I mean, she's clearly not a politician, and she's not there because of any electorate that's put her there. She's not
Or
really accountable
ability.
to anyone except Beijing. But
Yeah.
a very, very peculiar character indeed. I'll leave
I
it
mean,
at
it's like Willy Wonka, right? Like he's got the chocolate factory. He's got too much chocolate. He's trying to deal with it. She's dealing with all the cash in her house.
that. She
Doesn't know
gives
what
a few
to do.
golden tickets though.
Yeah, yeah. I wish. Well, she
Yeah, to
probably does.
Shenzhen.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Those guys are getting in free.
So we're in a situation now where you're like, oh well, they probably won't need to do anything else. They have complete control
Yeah.
over every person.
They're literally going through the motions. They're just talking.
but that wasn't
debating.
enough.
No, not enough. No. But wait, there's more. So then the next thing they did, this is in January now, and this again relates to the proposed elections last year. So, and again, taking a few steps back, with the elections due to come up in September last year, the pan-Democrat camp was sort of thinking about what's the best way they can position themselves to do well in this election. Bearing in mind they'd sort of done a clean sweep of the district council elections in 2019, and the public sentiment was clearly behind them. But the Pan-Dems have traditionally been a pretty fractious bunch, right? There's a bunch of different Pan-Democrat parties, and they sometimes compete with each other and sort of who's on the more radical or the less radical.
It's almost like they have a functional approach to politics.
Yeah, right.
Isn't it so weird? It's so weird as opposed to the other side where nobody has an independent thought.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
We're a team.
Yeah.
There's no I in team, but there's an I in China. But anyway, go on.
Yeah. So the way
How many coffees did you have before you came here?
I think it's definitely the medical treatment, man. There's something in it. I just got it into my blood.
He's
today or
been
something.
violently sick since you were the last podcast he did.
Oh,
you're telling me this now?
man.
Since you were last on, he's basically been in hospital.
Yeah, I've been
Right.
off season.
Fever, sore throat, cough.
Yeah. I've been having
I
lung-
mean like really sick.
Yeah. Not
I'm sorry
COVID
to
sick.
hear that.
No, it's okay. I'm back to what I think is normal now.
Back to weird.
Yes, exactly. Back to it. Before it was just not good.
Yeah.
This
man.
is back to it. Yeah.
No, we
And
just had him on for the first one back.
Yeah. So it's really good. Yeah, that's why I'm trying to get used to this whole interview process of remember, speak properly, ask questions they can understand. Don't speak just your thoughts directly. Filter a bit. So yeah, I
And
will
you got
get
like
to
a
that.
2-month back catalogue of gags to squeeze in.
I basically have 2 months of this nonsense weird talk that I didn't do, so therefore it's coming out in pieces. Like, oh, there's no I in China.
Oh,
It's
God.
here we go.
That was Diamond, though.
Here we go.
Credit where credit's due.
Hold on to that.
Where was I? Oh,
So-
yeah. Primaries. So, the Pandems, a lot of internal competition, so they decided they'd have a primary elections among themselves to decide who they'd run in each seat to avoid them competing and cannibalizing each other's vote. And one of the strategies that had sort of been floated originally by Benny Tai, who's this former Hong Kong U academic who was the founder of the Occupy Central movement back in 2014, was he wrote this op-ed in the Apple Daily, which was sort of about the 10 steps to Lam Chao, which is sort of mutual destruction. And he sort of posited this theory that if the Pandems won a majority of the LegCo, they could vote down the budget and force the chief executive to resign, and to be this way that the Pandems could sort of really mess up the governance in Hong Kong. And the governments, the authorities sort of put two and two together and said, well, if you're trying to win an election through these primaries, and if you win the election, you're saying that you're going to, try and bring down the government, then that's subversion and that's a breach of the national security law, so you better not do it. But everyone ignored that warning, and 600,000 people came out to vote in that primary last July, and it all went very smoothly. Of course, then the elections were postponed, so the people who won those primaries never got to run in the election. But then last week, the government came out and arrested basically everyone involved in that primary election for subversion, as they warned that they would. So every candidate who ran in that election, an American lawyer who was the treasurer of the organization that organized it, owners of businesses that hosted the polling stations for some of those elections.
People with fairly minor involvement, right?
Yeah. I mean, any candidate. So if you'd run in that election, they've said, okay, you were trying to commit subversion, you're arrested. So what they arrested is the entire pan-Democrat politician group, anyone who was either going to run or was thinking of running. So they've basically arrested the entire opposition is one way to look at it.
But given Benny Ty's goal of undermining corporate governance, do you think that anyone participating in the primary did have the goal of undermining the government?
Well, I mean, there's two things. Firstly, I mean, not necessarily. I mean, they didn't necessarily say, this is what we're going to do. Secondly, even if they did, they hadn't done it yet. They were just talking about what they may or may not do in the future. And thirdly, everything in Benny Ty's plan strictly followed the letter of the basic law. All the mechanisms he talked about, from winning an election to voting against the budget to what the consequences are if the legislature votes against the budget, all of that is set out in the basic law. There's nothing illegal in what he proposed. And so it's interesting that the subversion provisions of the national security law require an unlawful act. And so a lot of people have actually questioned these arrests and said, well, what was unlawful about any of this? I mean, even if they did intend to go through with it and they went through with it, that still wouldn't be illegal. And so people are sort of starting to question, will these charges stand up in court? And if they don't, maybe it doesn't matter anyway, because the purpose was just to arrest them all, take their passports away, potentially freeze their assets, hang a cloud over them so that when the election does come back, they might not be able to run because they're facing charges or they're remanded in custody awaiting trial and these sorts of things. So it's a pretty sort of a pretty big sort of intimidation tactic overall, I think.
Sure. I mean, I think any normal person, well, it's understandable, I think, when people get locked up for any period of time, for them to go, oh, this isn't worth my life.
Yeah, so I guess that's
especially when it's like, you could be like I'm always it's easy to admire these people. Like, yeah, the I was going to say Morgan Freeman, who's the guy from South Africa.
Wait, in Hong Kong?
No, the leader in South Africa.
Nelson Mandela.
Dude, all right. It's early, all right? It's really early.
Let me recap how I was criticized for the I in China bit.
Nelson Mandelas of the world who are willing to sit in a prison for a really long time. But, I look at it like, I would never do that, if in an unwinnable fight.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't do it.
I think the idea is to break their spirit, to make the cost of dissent so high that most people would just say that's a cost I'm not willing to bear.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, as I said, everyone involved was arrested. I mean, there were some really, I think, notable stories. The one that really stood out to me was Jeffrey Andrews.
Yeah. And let me just say, kudos to the police for getting, not mixing up South Asians. Normally they'll, you're him, whatever. I'll get the South Asian guy.
Vivek's been arrested 5 times.
Yeah. And I'm just like, they walk up to me, I'm like, I'm not the guy. I'm not the guy.
Still Vivek.
Yes. Trust me. Just call. Here's my ID. Call him. They'll be like, yes, not him. It's not him. Yeah. So that was my first impression. I was like, all right, okay. They got Jeffrey Andrews. They actually recognized him correctly. That's okay. However, the second thing I'm actually...
Wait, who was Jeffrey Andrews?
Jeffrey Andrews is actually he's the first registered South Asian / ethnic minority social worker in Hong Kong, and he decided to run for LegCo, representing the ethnic minority community, being a historic moment, and also he was running for the Kowloon West district. So that's like a really heated district as well. So he was doing this thing, and like with Jeffrey Andrews, he was basically the most timid of everyone. Like he's the most peaceful person you'll ever meet, and even amongst the group, you're like, this guy, there's nothing you have on him.
Even more peaceful than Morgan Freeman.
Even more peaceful than Morgan Freeman. Nelson Mandela, not so much though. Yeah. Wait a second, I mixed them up. No, okay, yeah. So yeah, and he was it was a real shocker.
Yeah, and he's got an amazing story, right? He had a troubled youth himself. I think he was arrested when he was young,
20-something.
And then turned his life around basically, and now has become this social worker helping out ethnic minorities and the refugee community and so on. But he posted this really powerful message where he said, I had to make the same phone call to my dad that I made some 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I've been arrested again, but this time not for something I did wrong, but for standing up for what I believe in.
Yeah.
Such a powerful message.
Yeah. I mean, it's really impressive to see that his spirit is still there. I mean, I know Jeffrey Andrews, he's the type of guy that, like, I was hearing stories about when they were arresting him, he was still worried about his clients that, you're supposed to see them that day. And I'm like, that's so Jeffrey. Like, he's that type of guy. He will literally, like, run out to help you out. If you call him and say, hey man, I'm in trouble, he's like, I'm there right now, right? His wife not so happy about that though. But yeah. But I think the weirdest thing for myself is when I heard about him being arrested, I was like, of all, like, this doesn't even make sense. This is clearly just a sweep. This is like, just arrest them all, who cares, doesn't really matter. I'm like, what could he have done? He was at the bottom of the election, as in like he got the least number of votes. Still very, very impressive. But the point is, like, what could have possibly done? He literally just the guy who was playing along in the game.
Yeah, exactly.
So one of the things that happened with the national security law arrests and the defense that I think a lot of pro-Beijing people have made is they say, there's a lot of arrests, but how many people have been charged? Pointing to the low number of people that have been charged. Yeah. Do you think this might be another situation like that?
Well, yeah. I mean, so we've so far, I think, had about 80-something arrests, including these 50-odd under the national security law. Only a handful have been charged. But look, there are consequences to being arrested, and I think saying they've only been arrested, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but it's not my point of view. I'm just speaking to the argument.
Bail sucks.
Right,
that's the first thing.
A lot of them have had.
Do they get to pay bail? Are they able?
They have to surrender their passports, so they're not able to leave Hong Kong. And I think part of the strategy is to avoid the kind of Ted Hui situation where you have people going into exile. They have to report to the police. They may have their assets frozen. They've got the stress of this thing hanging over their heads, like never knowing are you going to be charged, when you're going to go to court. Yeah. You have to pay lawyers and sort of all of that. So it's a major tool of intimidation. It's the arrest in itself. But surely there's sort of some kind of problem with the justice system if you have police making arrests that they don't intend to charge people with, or they don't have sufficient evidence to charge people with. And for the people who do get charged, the national security law has a presumption against bail. So you end up sitting in jail waiting for your trial, even before you've had a trial. So this is a situation with...
For 4 months, 5 months?
Right, yeah, like Jimmy Lai and some others at the moment.
He made bail, $10 million.
Right.
Got out, got a few days, and they were like, nope, go back in.
Did they keep the bail money?
It's a deposit, so you get it back if you're eventually released, I think. But he's now in maximum security prison. And
he's old, right?
He's 70 something, yeah. And he hasn't actually been put on trial yet. He's still an innocent man under the legal system, but he's sitting in maximum security prison awaiting his trial.
How much worse is maximum security prison than like most Hong Kong apartments?
Or the 21-day restriction, you have to be in your own place for 21 days.
I'm like, wow, that bed's only touching 2 of the walls.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for some of these guys, they're probably going like, wait, this is prison? Hold on a second. Wait a second. So there's no rent?
View.
I mean, there's one window. Oh my God, this is great. Yeah. I mean, I can imagine the mental turmoil though. I mean, the whole point is that if you're, with this whole national security law, the issue is that every time you see one of these reports, you're kind of like, well, what reason? And it's just because it's NSL. I'm like, what? You can't just keep throwing NSL out. It's like the boy who cried wolf. At some point, we're going to be like, what? This can't be NSL.
Yeah, and the tricky thing we're facing at the moment is we're in this stage where the NSL is enforced, but we haven't yet had any full trials go to completion. So we don't yet know how the courts are going to apply and interpret the law, how Beijing's going to react to that. So there's sort of this thing that's out there, but the lines that define it aren't yet drawn.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting point, though, because the courts don't, as of now, aren't really being so easily directed by Beijing. Is that right?
Yeah. I think it's fair to say that Hong Kong's court system is still very much independent and has high level of integrity. And you see that from decisions coming through the courts, week by week. A lot of the time, acquitting protesters who'd been arrested in 2019 because they say the police don't have enough evidence, or they accuse.
Have they been held since then?
I think some have. Yeah, some have been remanded until then. Yeah. Many not. Many are just sort of on bail. But yeah, and the courts don't shy away from accusing the police of committing perjury or making up stuff in court or giving inconsistent evidence if they see it that way. And we also just as of this month have a new Chief Justice. So the former Chief Justice retired, and we have a new Chief Justice in place, Andrew Jung. So we'll see if that leads to any change in the way that the courts sort of view the world, but I don't think so. He's sort of already expressed some pretty strong views that Hong Kong continues to have human rights and freedoms and so on. But yeah, the courts, of course, will be the first ones to draw the lines and sort of define the national security law. But the law the ultimate power to interpret the law remains with Beijing. So if Beijing doesn't like what the Hong Kong courts do with the law, they might step in and say, "Oh, you got that one wrong."
Really? Do they do that?
Well, we don't know yet. They have the power to
time,
do that.
I mean, from the patterns they're taking now, it's not just a matter of time. They're like, yeah, I didn't really like that one, so say turn that backwards. I mean, they'll interview for sure. I mean, the weird thing with the NSI, I keep thinking about how it makes sense to me because it's like a comic comes on stage, right? It does a bit. It's not funny, and it's like, well, that sucked, and the audience is like, ha 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 ha, right? And it does another bit, fails again. They're like, well, that sucked. The audience is like, wait a second, you can't keep using the that sucked and laugh at yourself kind of idea.
Oh, you're using repeating the same argument?
That,
right?
or else like this guy knows what I'm talking about. It's not like, yeah, we're kind of getting, this is not the point anymore. NSL is like that, right? It's just like, oh, we don't know what this is, so it's NSL. There you go. You can't argue with that.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to apply like my knowledge of how things worked in mainland China, and the starting point for me is always that the system's irrelevant.
Yeah.
The system is just, it's more like they have a thing they want to do. They're like, okay, which tool are we going to pick up to achieve the thing that we wanted to do that we decided before we even considered how the law might apply to this situation?
Yeah. But that's the thing. So that's why it's so hard to grasp, because you're trying to think of the system the way it works, but then it doesn't really work that way. It's kind of like you go to a show and the audience is pretty high by themselves and they're laughing at bits. You're like, well, how is that funny?
Yeah.
Like,
did you ever read Richard McGregor's book, The Party?
Yeah, great book.
Which is an amazing
Great book,
And
yeah.
one of the takeaways I had from that was about how the courts in mainland China, like the number one, justice was like the sixth priority for them. Literally that's their mandate.
Yeah.
It's not, we've got to, it's like, no, they have to achieve the party's interests.
Yeah, first five and then
government's interests and all
actual
this stuff. And
justice.
justice is like way, way down.
Man.
And how that's going to happen here.
Yeah, I mean, there's this really famous quote from Xi Jinping from a couple of years ago where he sort of said, north, south, east, and west, the party leads them all. And this idea that all of the government apparatus, the entirety of the system should be in service of the party. And that's the case.
That's a terrifying quote, by the way.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't
Sounds
say
like a
north,
rap
south,
thing.
east, west of China.
Yeah, true. Doesn't specify.
In fact, specifically the word west.
Yeah. Yeah. North, south, east, west.
Right?
Yeah.
And they must have a plan. Like whatever we think, they have a plan to get from A to B.
Yeah.
And how does that play out?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's certainly Hong Kong's not an exception to that. Let's put it that way. Hong Kong is a part of China, and from Beijing's point of view, at least the two systems bit of one country, two systems certainly applies to the economy and the financial markets and all that kind of thing. But it doesn't extend to being free to try and bring down the government or subvert the government. That clearly is something that's crosses the red line from their point of view.
Yeah, but I would even go further than that and say I can give you specific examples of situations in the courts in mainland China where it's like, forget about subverting the government. You just someone with more power wanted something and you lose.
Yeah. No, and bear in mind there are so many hierarchies, sort of geographic hierarchies in China, starting in central government in Beijing, and going down to the province, and going down to sort of cities and counties and townships and villages, and every layer has government and party organs and courts and local vested interests.
And
so
when we say villages, we mean like 1 million people.
Yeah, right.
Villages. But in all seriousness,
Yeah,
that's legitimately
Yeah.
what they say. Villages. We're like, oh yeah, the people in the
Yeah,
shanties.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
exactly.
no.
Yeah.
This is still a huge city.
but a lot of stuff happens down through those layers, and a lot of it is personality driven. Yeah.
Personality driven, but that's such a perfect way to describe the counterpoint to the rule of law.
Yeah.
It's like
rule of man, rule by man. rather than
Who's
rule by
there
rule
on the
by
day?
person?
Who's there on the day? What's their mood about it?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I guess it's like school.
There
sex
was this
parents.
great, actually, going back to your Twitter, there was a great tweet that you made me laugh. It was Bill Bishop had said, of course they arrested everyone. It's just as they would do in Shenzhen or Zhengzhou. Like Hong Kong being
Yeah.
Zhengzhou.
That's a pretty sick
Don't know if
burn
you've
from
been to
Bill.
Zhengzhou before, but
It's not a great city, Zhengzhou.
Oh man, yeah. I guess that's the way they do it, right? It's always the fixed number of people, 6 a.m. arrests, and that's the deal. And it gets in the newspaper headlines during the morning and the social media place. This is another thing I don't understand. Why 6 a.m. though? Like, why interrupt people's sleep?
I never get that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like, do the police have different shifts, and these guys start the shifts and they go straight to work? Or is that the end of the first shift? And like, well, let's make our money.
If it's,
I think it's trying to keep knock people off guard and intimidate them and
also be
disorient
sure
them
that they're home.
That's
Yeah.
yeah, true. Yeah.
Well, that is what I mean. Because like 6 a.m., you probably haven't even brushed your teeth yet. You stuffed them.
You don't get up at 5 a.m.? What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
My
You've been
meditation
sick.
is brushless.
Yeah.
I don't brush before meditation. No. Yeah, that was every time because when I wake up and if I do see the news, I'm like, oh, when did they do that? 3 hours ago. I'm like, oh man, that hurts.
You should start getting up at 5:30 so when they do come to arrest you, you're not there.
Yeah. Just work backwards. Like I assume every single day they're gonna arrest me. I go at 5:30. Like I'm gonna do a set somewhere on my own in the garden. To
Yeah.
all the old people. But no.
So what do you think is the next step?
Well, there's been a lot of speculation that they are going to do something around the district councils. So the district council elections were in 2019, sort of towards the end of the protests, and the Pan Democrats won almost every seat. They took a real clean sweep, a landslide victory in that election. And that has sort of consequences for two things, not just for, of course, the fact that they run the district councils. All the district councillors are entitled to sit on the election committee that elects the chief executive, and we're due to have another chief executive election next year, 2022. And also they then contribute candidates to the 5 so-called district council super functional constituencies. So 5 seats in LegCo come from the district councils. So there's sort of consequences for both LegCo and the CE election that having all these Pan Democrats in the district councils, not to mention the fact that they've sort of got a platform for sort of day-to-day involvement with the community, which can be quite helpful for sort of building grassroots support. So there's a lot of rumors that Beijing is going to take some action to try and disqualify all of these district councillors, probably by applying the same loyalty test that's been applied to the legislators.
And what does that mean exactly?
Well, they basically say, look, all these people are public servants in some way. They have to swear an oath of loyalty that they promise to swear loyalty to the Hong Kong government and to the central government and to the constitution and the basic law and all those things. And then they say, well, look, you've sworn this oath and you posted Gong for Hong Kong, Liberate Hong Kong on your Facebook page. That's a breach of the oath, so you're out. Or they sort of go through and find anything that they've done.
And how on the line is the stuff they're finding? Because if you said, like, I want an independent Hong Kong, you kind of get... not that I agree with it, but you can see the insurrection
Yeah, but I
argument.
mean, looking
you know
at
what
the
I mean?
trends, looking at the trends so far, they don't need to have a very
No,
clear
that's what I'm
context.
asking is like
Yeah.
how line ball as some
I mean,
of
the
things
fact that they're
people-
going retrospective anyway, like they'll definitely go backwards and be like, you posted this in 2019, and you filled the oath in 2021. So
I know a guy who's a Uyghur who, when he was 21, he was arrested for sending an SMS when he was 14,
Yeah,
7 years earlier, and that was about 6 years ago. He's never been seen, never came back.
wow, that's harsh. Yeah, because the district council thing, I was reading a little bit. The idea is that they felt that they were basically against Hong Kong, and so the government definitely is trying to crack down on some reason. And honestly, at this point, they could do whatever reason they want. Just be like, yeah, subversion. Like, well, what?
I also know another guy, one of the comics friends, a neighbor, works for the government, and they asked him to make the pledge. He's just left. He's just taken his whole family.
Oh,
and gone.
okay, yeah, I can imagine, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
Got little
that's why-
kids, you know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
honestly, that's also why I no longer call Kowloon the dark side. I'm just scared to insult.
sounds
any-
racist.
Yeah, there you go. That as well, but I'm allowed to say it though. So because the weird thing is like now is like everything you say, it's not even a matter of like is this offensive? It's a matter of is it offensive to someone else.
Yeah.
And you have to kind of guess like who is that someone else? Like what's their tolerance level? You get it? Like if I say South Asian versus brown people, like oh you can't call them brown people. I'm like okay, so now I'm in jail for calling brown people brown. Okay. I'm confused. So I think that's what's happening right now. Even like as comics, right? We have this worry of like what line, where is the line, where do we cross?
No, I have the worry of not being known.
Well, you know what? At times like these, it's actually a good thing. You know, like the good thing I always like the one thing I always keep feeling that the NSL has that we can benefit from is that we're speaking English. So that is already one advantage we probably have. By the time the translation happens, you know, we have the defensive loss in translation. That's one.
That doesn't work, though.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean,
You're arguing like we could have a say. You know? Am I being too pessimistic here?
I mean, look, it's a great example, I think, of where some of the red lines lie. Is this this politician, Fastbeat Tam, a pro-democratic politician?
Great name.
It's
Yeah.
a great name. Yeah. He's been charged with sedition, for making seditious utterances, for having a microphone on a street stall and chanting a lot of the slogans that were commonly chanted during the protest. Slogans like 5 demands, not one less, liberate Hong Kong, and these kind of slogans. Now, he's been charged with seditious utterances for chanting those slogans. And the other one I think is just classic. He's also been charged with aiding and abetting someone else uttering those seditious words because he passed them the mic.
wow.
Like the act of like
That's a
passing the
charge.
person, that's a charge.
So that's what
Passing
I'm
the
talking
mic
about.
to him. Is
That's as
Yeah,
That's as line balls it gets.
So that's what I mean. Like you're getting away with that, and also I'm very curious. Like how long before we have to beep what he just said? The
I tell you what, I'm not giving either of you my microphone. That's for sure.
Yeah. This, of course, this is all reported speech. We don't in any way endorse the contents of these slogans.
Yeah,
We're just
exactly.
reporting what other people have
just
said. But,
Yeah.
I'm editing that part out.
He said, "Yeah, as heard, the slogan as heard on the streets," and I quote.
I mean, it seems to me like assuming that the district councils won't be let in is almost like a best case scenario. Like that's the least bad thing.
Yeah, basically
That
just
you would
qualify
expect.
and go home and go do something else.
Because that
basically.
would be on the level of them, removing people from running next time. But they've gone one further than that. I mean, they're locking people up.
I think that's the whole fear tactic as well, right? They're trying to stress you out and kind of go, like, you know what? Screw this. I'm out. I'm just going to sit here and be quiet. I'm not going to argue
I just
anymore.
feel like so much of what Beijing does is like a human experiment.
yeah.
They're like, okay, what's working in Hong Kong didn't work out. What if we just, run this fear campaign? Here's a question. Do you think that stability, like genuine stability, is of interest to them?
Oh, no, I'm sure it is. Yeah. I think the number one thing that's driving all of this is they saw what happened in 2019 and that crossed a line and was unacceptable. And they want to make sure that nothing like that can ever happen again, not only in terms of law enforcement to actually stop protests like that happening, but to get rid of all the underlying factors that supported and drove that.
But doesn't it doing the opposite?
Well,
That's my point.
Exactly.
That's
They're not
that's
winning
my
hearts
point,
and
though.
minds. Yes.
Yeah, that's my whole point. Is
Yeah.
like there's stability. Like no one's firing, fire arrows at the police. But then there's stability. Like people feel stable.
Yeah, so you have to question what's the long term consequences.
That's what I'm asking.
And I tend to agree that this is just pushing all that. It's not resolving any of the fundamental issues as far as the Hong Kong people are concerned, and it's just pushing all of that resentment and discontent sort of down and putting a lid on it. But it's still rumbling away, and you feel that inevitably somehow or somewhere it's going to burst out.
How
again.
do you think? I want to ask both of you guys.
Yeah.
What are Hong Kong people thinking right now? Oh, actually, let me say something first. I just want to hear your thoughts
You've
on
been
this.
saying a lot of you don't say something first after cutting yourself.
No. But I wanted to, I didn't want to interrupt you before.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
but you mentioned that it was a landslide win for the district councils.
Yeah.
But by votes, it was pretty close, right?
60-40,
60-40
right?
roughly.
Yeah, 60-40.
Oh, I thought it was closer than that.
No, 60-40. But then-
I thought there was a closer.
No,
like,
as in the number of votes was basically 60%, 40%.
Right.
So pro-dem was 60% of the votes. Just that all the different seats kind of.
I thought it was like
mostly
48% had voted for pro
You
Beijing.
were probably looking at the propaganda news.
I was.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what it was.
Yeah, I was reading Nuri Vitachi.
Yeah. Oh, then it wasn't 60-40. It was just like unfair. It was like ridiculous math.
Okay,
That's what really happened, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's roughly 60-40, which in any other country would be a.
But there's a lot of
landslide.
support for Beijing. Right?
There's not insignificant support for Beijing. It's not the majority, but there's a lot of support for pro-Beijing and for
I guess like
various
people
parts of the
who
community.
have good lives at the moment, they're like, hey, don't change nothing. We like the way things are, so don't shake the boat. But then what we don't realize is that it's not about the boat not shaking, is there's an issue that's going on. We either like kind of take out the engine and refix it, or else it's just a matter of time before the engine itself's going to conk out and the whole boat goes.
It's like the boat's on fire. Don't rock it.
Yeah.
Don't rock
Don't rock the boat.
Don't wet the wood. Don't wet the wood. It's like, no,
Don't
we
make the
need
flames go in. The rocking will make the flames it'll help
exactly.
them.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to give it oxygen. Oh my God, the flames get bigger. It's like, it's a matter of time.
Yeah.
So what is the underlying sentiment in your opinions now then?
Well, honestly, if you ask me, I'm just confused. I don't even know what to think anymore. Partly because of this whole, well, first of all, the whole lockdown and everything's already confused me completely. Like my normal way of thinking has been shot to hell, and at the same time, with all the news just being like so arbitrary, where it's like, wait, what? This is for what? And there's no real clear explanation. Like I said, the 50 plus people who were arrested, the pro-dem people who got arrested, I was just like, so wait, what? Like, what's your reasoning? Oh, because they were plotting against them? Like, wait, what? Like, so even a plan, like a bad plan, is illegal now? Right? Do you understand how crazy that is? Like, if we just sat one day and say, hey, let's do a show, and we're going to do this, like, roast, and we're going to roast this, like, oh, you can't say that. We were brainstorming. No. You either go straight to the final idea, otherwise you don't do it at all. It's like, what?
Yeah, that's television.
Exactly. but my point is that you still have a brainstorming process, right? Now even the brainstorming process itself is wrong.
So what do you think is the sentiment of people, though? These 60%...
I honestly, everyone, if you ask me, people I've spoken to, they're just pissed off.
People are pissed off.
A lot of my friends who I've spoken to, they're just like pissed off because it's like they're at a state of confusion. I think that is the way they're trying to wear you down, where you're just so confused. Like, you know what? I give up.
Are people giving that? Okay, so are people giving up? Do you think?
Borderline-ish, like people are getting frustrated, I would say.
I mean,
Look, the sense I have, certainly people are intimidated, are afraid. And, since the national security law came in, you see people, deleting their Facebook posts or turning their accounts anonymous, leaving chat groups.
And this has nothing to do with the recent WhatsApp policy changes. This was
Right.
like before WhatsApp wanted to change their privacy policy.
Yeah. Also, people talking about leaving Hong Kong, some actively doing so. I think especially
massive numbers of people applying for B&O
passports,
UK passports, and
Yeah, I mean, but for me, what in terms of what's the sentiment? I mean, the thing that I just can't sort of get out of my head is that whatever it was, 2.6 million people or whatever it was that voted Pan-Democrat in those district council elections in 2019, and then the 600,000 some last July who came out in the middle of a pandemic, kind of queued in this, to participate in this, took a fair bit of effort to get the phone and get the code and vote in the primary. 600,000 people did that. All those people are still here, or most of those people are still here. The government hasn't done anything to make them feel happier, right? If anything, all of this is only going to have entrenched their views and made them, feel even more unhappy. So that, to me, must be an indication of at least how that segment of the population feels. I don't think anything's happened to change their minds.
I mean, really, if you ask me what's going to happen, this is like the typical phase where, okay, you're confused, you don't know what to do. It's kind of like you're young and you're kind of like angsty and everything. And eventually, at some point, you're just going to break out and find your own way.
get acne.
And get acne as well. Yeah, exactly. That's going to be key on the back as well. But then, specifically on the back.
The back knee.
Yeah, back knee. No, what I'm saying is like, I think right now the confusion phase, like even I'm asking myself, like I'm confused as to what to think and what to make of all this stuff. But I know what's going to happen is like, give it a few months time. I will start to adapt, but not accept. And it's eventually going to either twist me onto a very radical angle, as in I'm like, you know what, screw this. I mean, if it's not going to make sense, let's not make anything have any sense to it. You go that route. Otherwise, the other is the intimidation route, where I'm just like, you know what, I just want to get on with my life. Please don't bother me. And I don't see the 600,000 / 2.6 million people who came out to vote to be the type of guy like, you know what, fine, whatever you want. I'll just be quiet. So I really feel it's just a matter of time of multiplying, and people are going to get to the point of frustration, and the radicalization is just going to increase.
Do you think that people could protest again?
I don't, honestly, if you ask me, I don't think that, because
It's just
right now,
so risky.
that as well, and also with the COVID issue, the government's just gone nuts with the restriction. They can do whatever they want for whatever reason, like, oh, for safety. Okay, so how? Like I said, when they did the whole 50 people maximum outdoors but unlimited indoors, I was like, what kind of logic is this? And they could get away with it. So what's stopping them from just basically stopping any sort of gathering outside? Right? There's nothing. So they can just keep this on forever and just say, well, with COVID, who knows, this might be the flu season, so no gathering.
Yeah, but that's my point is like, people, I'm not saying people don't want to do it. I'm saying people won't do it because they don't think that they can.
But I think we're going to get innovative. It's like the mooncake thing, right? Sending messages in mooncakes and everything. It's just a matter of time. We're going to figure out a new way to protest / get
figure out a
across.
way to make a tasty mooncake.
Yeah, that as well. I mean, there are some really good ones, the ice cream ones, non-traditional. But yeah.
Haagen-Dazs were the only ones that had a good go at it.
Yeah, they had a good go with that one. So yeah, I would say honestly the confusion, I think if you ask me from what I've seen in my circle of people, is we're at a very confused trying to make sense of what's going on now.
So right now people are waiting for COVID to pass, right?
Yeah, you can say
Is that right?
Yeah, no, that's right.
Sure,
yeah.
So what happens when COVID passes?
No, that's a great question. Well, once the public gathering restrictions are lifted, you still do need police permission to have a public protest. They might continue to refuse permission for whatever reasons they can come up with. People might try to get creative and sort of somehow try to gather and march anyway. But the minute that anything like that is publicized online or elsewhere, the police sort of swoop in very early and stop any gathering occurring. So yeah, you sort of wonder how a protest like that would happen again, and when the conditions might permit that. So yeah, it's a good question. And you know, for example, I sort of wonder, will we ever see another June 4th vigil in Hong Kong, or is that it? They're just never going to allow one to happen again.
Well, Nero Vitachi's going, and he's been lighting candles for the soldiers.
yeah. He's been lighting because
That's an actual thing.
yeah,
He
actual
said.
explanation of what happened. Like, you must understand, there were soldiers that nobody
He's been
cares
going to
about.
the vigil to
Yeah.
light the candles for the soldiers.
Hey man, sometimes, man, love is a weird thing. There's no I in love.
So one thing that's been
It's just the gag that keeps on giving.
Exactly. Yeah,
there's no I in that joke.
yeah.
That's one thing.
There is an I in Vitachi, but go on.
I really want to. I want to. I'm fascinated because you have a
There's
lot
a
of.
U in Yuri.
and there's a Y as well somewhere.
No, because you have so much experience in mainland China. One of the things that's always frustrated me, and now I've accepted it, is the level of nationalism in mainland China is astonishing. I struggle to find anyone that doesn't think that the Beijing's doing a good job. Like I have intelligent friends who can think,
they
have
ever
been
used-
Western educated.
Yeah.
When you get onto topic of China, you just got to go. It's like listening to a Trump supporter. It's like, you're going to say some stuff, and I can't hate you. I don't hate you, but I'm not going to change your mind.
Yeah, I
You know?
mean, it's fair point. It's not unique to China, right? I mean, there a lot of other places in the world where there.
But in China, is there anywhere else where it's so ubiquitous?
I don't know. Look, certainly, the Chinese government has used the education system and sort of weaponized this patriotism, right, as a way of forming social cohesion and as a way of legitimizing their own rule, and so yeah, that the system is sort of built to reinforce that. But at the same time, to be fair, they've got a lot of reasons to naturally agree with that at the moment, right? Given how well they've handled COVID, and their economy's kind of hanging together, and so there's sort of a I think the government wouldn't be able to maintain that if there wasn't at least some basis in the reality of people's day-to-day lives, right?
Sure, but at some point, you're like, oh, hey, you're dealing with the economy well. You guys are allowed to have internment camps. Like if Hitler's like, hey, chicken in every pot.
Hey. They could be glamp. They could be glamping.
Like, at what point is dealing with a pandemic, gives you permission? As for my personal position is like, I was fine with living there and everything. Like, that was a turning point for me where I was like, they're not, what they're doing is not okay.
Yeah.
And I'm obviously biased, and it's hard not to see past my own bias with that. But I've found negative commentary about the government absent
Yeah.
among all of my friends.
Yeah, the system's built that way, and people's daily lived experience is consistent with that. So why would they question it? I mean, I'm not saying I agree with that.
The same reason I questioned it. They don't have access to. I don't have access to information they don't have.
I don't know. I guess like maybe you like you said, you get brought up in that environment through that education. It's kind of like saying when you go to India, you see a cow walking around past the road. You don't go like, oh, what the hell's going on? You're like, well, that's how it is. I mean, we're
that's
okay
a good
with
analogy. I had exactly the same information that they. Well, am I wrong? Maybe, sorry. So they're right. Then is that the conclusion?
No, but then to like or not like the government, isn't that more personal opinion / feeling?
Sure, but my point is, why is no one on the other side of it?
Oh, why don't complain like intern?
How is it so almost unanimous?
So you mean like no one's actually complaining about the camps and everything? Is that what you're saying?
Oh God, no. Dude,
Yeah.
have you spoken to someone in the mainland about a Uyghur? Have you recently?
No, I haven't. But I mean,
I was there last year for a show, early last year. Say a room full of people. Very common. This exact experience. I have friends who are Uyghurs that are there. It's straight away. It's like they're dirty. They're thieves. We need to bring them into the community. If even that, they don't even see it as needing to bring them in.
Yeah.
They need to be kept under control. That's the common point of view.
Yeah.
Like that was,
I can see.
Not to keep talking about Nuri, when Nuri put up that thing where he's like, oh, actually there is some friction between Han Chinese and Uyghur Chinese, but it's very light-hearted ribbing because they're friends. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, but I guess like so the thing is, so that's what I mean. So you've personally experienced it, in your face. So therefore, it's so strong to you.
And
Whereas,
as have my Uyghur friends,
Exactly. So I'm saying like for myself, I don't have a Uyghur friend.
But you lived in mainland China for a very long
lived
time.
in Beijing
you have
for
more
8 years.
experience than maybe than I do there. Is this inconsistent with your experiences?
No, not at all. I mean, it's but people. It's, as I say, it's the way that the party has built up the system and the bargain that the social contract of people's material lives improving and the price that they pay for that is not to question the political status quo, and that's sort of been the bargain for 30 years.
Yeah, I guess that's with the grandparents, like don't question the grandparents, whatever they say goes kind of deal. Maybe that's like the mentality.
I would have thought the grandparents would be the source of
you have some great grandparents,
of asking
man.
questions,
Yeah,
because they were there.
You clearly are not Asian. That is why you are like, grandparents are great. They have so much wisdom.
No. I'm saying they lived through the worst of it.
Yeah, but generally, like grandparents, at least in the more Asian cultures, kind of like, no.
I lived next to this horrible old couple in Shanghai. I mean, they were just they were screaming at each other all day. They were just miserable people.
Yeah,
and
not
I
much
remember
wisdom
thinking,
there.
looking at them, I'm like, look how old they are. They've lived through the worst of the worst of some of the.
Yeah,
and I was
but
just so glad that it happened to them,
Yeah, man.
and not somebody else.
But one day what's going to happen is like in 30, 40 years' time, people are going to look at us like, I'm so glad COVID happened to them and not us. And we're like, yeah, you kids, you damn kids, you went through nothing.
The COVID's not the great leap forward.
Well, true. It's got its own little annoyances as well, but I guess social
How did
media.
I become the psycho conspiracy theorist amongst this group of three?
Clearly.
How did we get to comparing COVID to the Great Leap Forward?
Exactly. I was like, wait a second.
Several steps away.
Well, the sort of the path that I was getting to though is that what I've seen now amongst my Hong Kong friends is a level of acceptance.
Right. Okay. I see where you're going. Yeah.
So I'm seeing that trend is starting to happen here, where I'm talking to people who are friends of mine who are smart, and they're like, yeah, this is what it is.
So that's
let's get on board. There's only one way this is going to go.
Yeah. So there's several.
Which I understand.
Yeah. No, you're right. So there's several stages, right? So that you could say that they're kind of in the acceptance stage of, okay, this is the way it is. There's no point fighting against it. And I think what you're saying is the next level is embracing it and saying, yeah, this is the way it should be.
1984, they make you love the party. That's their goal.
Yeah, I think there you go.
Their goal is to
reread this
win
book
over
again.
hearts and minds. Every thought is in admiration and love the party.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time now. Let's see how long this lasts on the podcast.
I'm already losing both of you.
2 plus 2 was what was it?
5, I believe. Freedom is slavery.
It was basically there's an I in China. That's the conclusion of that formula.
Yeah.
Yeah. But okay, so jump into one real quick thing. We still have a bit of time. All right, so one real quick thing. Where do you think is this time next year? What do you think is going to be Hong Kong? I'm very curious to see. Like 1 year ago, you would have never imagined where we are now, right? So just crazy thought. What do you think 1 year later Hong Kong is going to be like? What do you think it's going to be?
Well, I think certainly 1 year later, I think there still would not have been any major public protests.
Yeah.
There will have been more arrests under the national security law. I'm pretty sure the district councils will be knocked out in some way. I'd be surprised if we've had a LegCo election by then. I reckon it'll be delayed even longer.
Yeah.
And probably by then we will have had some people charged and found guilty and jailed under the national security law as well. And I think also by then it might be that things feel a bit more stable in the sense that the kind of wave of arrests and things might have eventually petered out.
There must be fatigue as well.
Right. Yeah. And people just feel tired and quiet.
We're getting to 2 years of disruption.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not just protests. Like that's when it's just doubled on, right? Doubled down with like COVID as well. It's like another angle of disruption.
Because I think COVID won't be fully passed until at least the end of this year, right? By the time you have vaccines,
With the Hong Kong government working at it
right?
this way, yeah.
So that'll have been almost 3 years of not life being not normal.
Yeah.
Which is just got to take a toll on everyone's.
Let's
mental
say the real
health and
metric.
the economy.
3 years of LKF having not that many people in it.
Yeah.
That's the
Right.
real
Yeah.
metric,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's right.
3 years of no proper open mics and shows. Wow,
my God.
man.
They're
Going
not
back to
coming
square
back.
one.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really hoping for good news on all fronts, and mostly just shows back. That's all I really care about. I'll
Yeah.
be championing the party if we can have shows.
Yeah,
back.
I sleep with my fingers crossed, so
But-
I'm doing my part.
Antony, it's always awesome having you on, man. I really appreciate you sharing your
Yeah,
time.
it's been a real pleasure. Thanks.